hello, and welcome to the Old Ways Twitch live play of the Shadowrun 5th Edition adventure drake.Revenge. I'm Lecco, and I really hope that you can hear me out there. And I have the pleasure of serving as Game Master for our, we'll say, cautious group of characters for whom introductions will follow, but not before we extend our deepest and sincerest gratitudes to our listeners and viewers and subscribers, followers, and Patreon supporters. Um, since we had a bit of a late start, and it's totally my fault, I would like to go ahead and jump right into introductions. So, first position in the upper right, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I always forget that that's me, and this time I looked at the arrangement just to see if I was in the upper right corner because I remember you saying that, and every time I'm like, "Oh no, I've been ambushed." So anyways, not ambushed, but still rambling for some unclear nonsense reason. I am bunny-hearted and/or Millie, Sheener, or they and them are both good with me. I'm a doofus retro anime bunny girl VTuber, and I'm here playing Hollow Mercury, our phasey thief with a somewhat growing heart and piled of scruples and things, maybe, for certain individuals on occasion. I've written down an aspiration of like, don't let Rusty die because they're too cute. So now you know.
Well, now we have someone to disappoint. Speaking of disappointments,
Yeah. Aw, yay. I love to be disappointed. Aw.
going to kill my segue in the lower right.
Well, howdy. I'm Morgan. I'm a cast member of the Old Ways podcast, and I play Cowboy. Our pronouns are she, her, and while the streets might be colder than the frontier ever was, I'm bringing back the Wild West, one bullet at a time,
The Wiki Wild Wild West, from what I understand.
with my tiny hat.
Yeah, that's it's braggadocious and outrageous and contagious. Cowboy is your name, but not to be forgotten and seemingly um, becoming the mascot of the group to be protected and saved in the lower left.
Hi, I'm Pesto Mystic, and I'm cute, too cute to die. So keep me alive, please. Playing Rusty. I'm playing Rusty. That's who I'm playing. And I'm happy to be here and excited to be here. Thank you.
The good thing about being too cute to die is you're never too cute for me to kill you. And certainly last, but definitely not least, in the upper left, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Mike. I am the chief catalyst of the Old Ways, head of Old Ways Entertainment. But for this stream, I'm playing the role of Saint, who is sort of like the somewhat knowing and brooding uncle for many of the people here. I do my best to try to keep them out of trouble. And then when that isn't going as well as it needs to, I run off with Hollow Mercury and we have shenanigans. It's pretty much just what we do.
On occasion, there's a fire.
And yeah, Mike is our definitely our wrangler and cannoneer in many cases. So we appreciate all the hard work you do, especially in this where there is no shortage of it. So when we last left our Shadowrunners, they were in a car on the way back to a mysterious bunker provided by a mysterious patron after an encounter with a helicopter piloted by a aggressive and perhaps somewhat unstable dwarf and an orc who, while perhaps unnamed at this point, has seemingly continued to plague our Shadowrunners and has met an untimely demise at the barrel of a fully automatic weapon. This ride, in which the runners are getting back to base in an effort to kind of close the book on some matters, or perhaps open a new book and see what might transpire. Driving the car is a newly acquired, we'll say, companion by the name of Hector, who seemed to be the apprentice of one Akimi Todumasa, a extremely powerful and somewhat storied sorceress who was running an academy before the sidewall of it was blown out by said attack helicopter. There was a moment of perhaps slight confusion as it was determined that the information that was being sought, the true name of a dead dragon, was actually engraved in the interior of an engagement ring that was once upon Akimi's finger and is now in the pocket of one of our runners. Having been perhaps forcibly removed, perhaps voluntarily removed, no matter what, it seemed to be a painful process. But nonetheless, we can rest assured that that is not the last we've seen of Akimi or her finger. But perhaps we'll revisit that in a moment as our Hector, who is driving, receives directions to the bunker, and you all pull up to. Are you taking him? Are you having him go directly to the bunker, or are you going to have him park the somewhat conservative sedan away from the location?
I mean, I don't think there's any reason to not have him drive directly to the bunker.
Okay. So you all once again enter the Barrens, stark contrast to the downtown area from which you came. Arriving at the bunker provides you with a sense of, I don't want to say safety, but solitude, as when you exit the car, there is a quiet that is seeming to just kind of be looming over the Barrens currently. There's also a bit of a haze in the sky that is hanging low over the buildings, as the smog seems to have drifted your way and is rolling uninhibited through the Barrens. Hector closes the door, looks to you all, and says, look, I'm not really sure what it is you intend to do with this thing. And I'm not going to stop you. But you have to understand how dangerous things like names can be.
I'd be appreciative, perhaps, if you could expand on it. I'm sure that some of us understand, but perhaps others do not.
Maybe not in the open. Where's this place?
Oh,
He kind of looks around.
it's right here. I point to like
Oh,
the door.
okay, sure. This looks safe. He kind of tilts his head at the concrete entrance and double doors.
First time in the Barrens?
Yes, I don't get out much.
Then safe is relative. I use the access cards, get in.
Okay. You go into the bunker. Things appear as you left it. Things are somewhat dingy, somewhat dusty. The inventory continues to linger. The lights flicker on, kind of in rows. And then at the end of the room, at the end of the chamber, sits the cyber terminal and kind of the research area where you all had gathered a bunch of information. So Hector continues as the doors kind of shut behind you and echo throughout the place. So it's my understanding, you have to apologize, my knowledge of ancient history is lacking. It hasn't necessarily been an integral part of my tutelage, but in myth, biblical or otherwise, there was always the part of history where mankind, the species that we've come to know as metahumans, began identifying things and giving them names, from creatures to objects. These name givers provided these objects and these creatures with identities, with a sense of self. And these names solidified them somehow. They made them real. They created patterns that could be recognized. There's some flexibility, but if you show two people something like a chair, there's a really good chance that they'll recognize it as a chair. as something to be sat upon, whether they call it a chair. It is the identity of the thing that has meaning. They understand that it is to be, well, sat upon. It's difficult, but when it comes to dragons, dragons are not name givers, in as much as, in my understanding, name takers. There is no one to give a dragon a name. They take it for themselves. They declare it as part of their ascension to being. So
It sounds fancy, but it sounds like a Shadowrunner.
he smiles. The parallels aren't lost on me. The names you choose to go by are the basis of your reputation, your being, who you once were, while it may haunt you from time to time, is not who you may see in the mirror or who your friends know you as, or the impact that you leave behind on the world. Those fingerprints, or footprints, or claw prints.
We intend to utilize the power within the name to evoke something.
One way to put it.
The mistress told me that she allowed it to be given to you because, well, there is an undone task that she found herself unable to perform. And she felt that she was no longer worthy to bear it. So it is her hope that it will be ultimately fulfilled. Do you
Did
know?
she tell you what this task was?
You hear, as he goes to answer, you hear like a rumble throughout the bunker as the door opens. And in the doorway, you see the silhouette of a Stetson in a long coat begin heading down the ramp into the bunker as the door shuts. Were you expecting a visitor? Hector seems to grow very nervous and agitated.
It's okay, Hector.
It's probably fine. It's going to position myself so that I'm not in an immediate line of gunfire.
Your benefactor comes down and descends into the bunker and looks you all over, tilts his hat up so we can get a look at all of you. His blue eyes kind of glimmer in the light. Seems you've acquired a stowaway.
Well,
Friends.
Friends
a
are short
dividend.
See. No matter. Do you have it?
We do.
Well, time is of the essence. There is a complication of sorts that I should make you aware of. He produces memory crystal, and when he does, so who is standing in front of Hector currently?
I'm probably standing in front of Hector.
You feel his hand.
Other side of the room.
You feel his hand on your shoulder. God.
What did he say?
He says, "My God," like very low and kind of under his breath, as you feel him grab your shoulder. These memories cannot be accessed as one could a book or a scroll. They must be passed on. They must be remembered by one who is capable of remembering them.
I smirk.
I am not that person.
I look at Hector.
He's white-faced and pale.
I can imagine someone of your education knows what that crystal is.
Memories of a dragon. He kind of moves around you slightly. You see the man in the hat kind of shuffle it around in his hand. He doesn't seem bothered. He almost seems oddly at ease with the situation. Your mistress definitely knows what this is. But the question is, do they know who you are? Hector seems to kind of furrow his brow. Don't do well with riddles. What do you mean? Man takes off his hat, and you see for the first time kind of the extent of what has gone on with his head. He has no hair. His face and head are, for the most part, artificial almost entirely. There seems to be a bit of organic skin around one of his eyes and his lower jaw and some of his mouth. His tongue seems normal and wet. But the rest of his skin seems kind of stretched and like that of a mannequin. And down the back of his neck, you can see the very obvious signs of like cybernetic enhancements drilled into his back and down his spine. I know you, Hector says. I've heard of you. Yes, I assume your mother would call me traitor, betrayer, scumbag. Idiot was one of her preferred terms for most of us. Hector looks around the room again. I don't understand. What is this? What?
It's not our doing. Are there any drinks here?
Yes, there's actually a fully stocked fridge, as far as you can.
Just
As
gonna
far as
start
you've seen.
mixing stuff. Gonna make
Ooh.
some martinis or something.
So while this is happening, can you tell me what the rest of you were doing? I'll start with Rusty.
I'm gonna hop around with Hala Mercury the moment that she starts going to mix drinks. I'll be right behind her. I'm mostly trying to blend into the wall right now during this conversation because I don't know anything.
Cowboy.
I'm probably listening while rifling through the armory.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a perception test if you don't mind while you're rifling around. Saint?
I am probably not stepping more than probably a half-meter distance from Hector and our benefactor.
Okay.
I am staying close enough to taste the air they breathe.
Okay. You definitely are. You notice that they don't seem moving toward each other other than Hector's seeming curiosity. stories she told me, you were known as Spatter. He smiles. It's eerie because his lower jaw smiles and his upper jaw doesn't move. Yes, perhaps in another life, before it was taken from me by your mother's coworker. But that's not why we're here. I made these people a promise that they could learn that which they need to know in order to get control of something that cannot be controlled. It would seem that fate has a way of closing loose threads. Spatter moves closer to you both. He's still holding the crystal in front of him. Hector visibly backs up. Keep that thing away from me. Oh, it's not up to me. You see, he looks at you, Saint. There is a reason that Akemi only keeps one apprentice at a time. It's because they require a lot of attention. You might say devotion. You know, it was once said to me that there are only two ways to interact with a dragon. You serve them, or you fear them. There are no alternatives. And to some, service can be interpreted any number of ways. Sometimes that service is personal, intimate. And from such unions can emerge marvelous bastards. He holds the crystal out to you, like the one you brought here.
I take the crystal.
You do. Hector moves across the room. What are you saying? Oh, I'm sure they're putting it together, if you haven't. You think she picked you because of your talent? Because of your power, your promise? No. Guilt brought you here. Purpose. He looks at you all again. Might keep you here. It's not for me to say. But I assure you all, this bastard, he points at Hector, is capable of remembering what you need.
Hector, how old are you?
Complicated question. I don't
It's
have,
actually very straightforward.
my memories are incomplete. One of the reasons that my training has been so... I wasn't ready to go on the quest necessary, from what the mistress told me. I wasn't ready to pursue my path, my purpose. I only remember the past 4 years or so.
Oh. I look at our benefactor and I suppress the chuckle. I think I see where this is going. Mhm.
Trust me, he is metahuman. Shh.
Well, I look around the room. We kind of all are. Ish.
But deep inside, something ancient is waiting to be unlocked. You have the key.
Well, this could be rather transformative.
Mm-hmm.
Hector moves and breaks for the door. You see him break into a run, like a panicked run.
Okay, so given how much faster I react than, say, the normal human,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to, I guess, toss the crystal to Cowboy
Okay.
in a single fluid motion, because I'm going to trust that Cowboy's reaction is going to be able to pick up on that. She's probably faster than the rest of the crew.
Very wise not to choose the rest of the crew.
Well, I'm not choosing Mercury because she's baking drinks. So, I mean, that's right
Shouldn't
up.
have chosen her anyway.
I need 2 free hands to get to Hector.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, so you got 2 successes on the perception roll, right, Cowboy, when you're rifling around?
Yes.
So it depends. Your reaction to this is going to depend on your reaction to the information that you have and how aware you are. So as you're rifling around, you find a couple of folders that outline a number of relatively recent exchanges, transactions specifically. They're not encoded necessarily. They're more like, it reads kind of like a Venmo log, honestly. Like it's very like on the nose. And you see a number of payments in Nuyen that have been provided to a number of people in date ranges, kind of all going over the past week and a half or so. You see names that you recognize. And some that you don't. You see Hamfist. You see Lucy. You see an entry for somebody named Kleiber and Orifice. And then something comes your way. Something is flying at you. So I need you to roll your reaction for me.
And right. Yep.
Perfect. Look at that. Look at that.
3.
Yeah, you did. All right.
3.
You don't even look up. You just kind of catch it while you're watching the document. Saint, you begin moving. You've seen Hector act before. You've seen him in combat. You've seen how fast he's capable of moving. He doesn't seem to be enhancing himself at all. What you're seeing is a breakdown of, he's panicked. So you move. What are you doing?
Yeah, he's having a flight response. He's become overwhelmed with fear. And so the idea is to not get hands on Hector. The idea is to beat him to the door.
Okay.
And to interpose myself so that way when he gets to the door, he has to interact with me.
Okay. You see he's looking over his shoulder as he's running, and then he bumps into you and kind of bounces off of you and takes a step back, and he seems to...
I put my hands up in a non-threatening gesture. Hector, we should talk about this before things get out of hand.
I don't understand what's happening. What's happening?
You don't understand because you can't remember. And so you don't have a frame of reference.
So he turns around and yells. So what are you saying then? What are you not saying? I'm saying that Akemi Todomasa is your mother, idiot.
Just gonna yell across the room. Do you want to talk about this over a drink and like sit down? You're just gonna die outside.
The man who has been called Spatter reaches over and picks up his hat again. Fixes the brim. You have a rare opportunity here. Now, another vessel could be sought, could be found. It is not entirely outside of the realm of possibility to capture a dragon. But, well, he looks at Hector. He puts his hat on.
I'll step down the ramp, towards the interior to give our benefactor the space to easily slide beyond me should he choose to exit.
As he approaches, you can see Hector's hands kind of clench. You feel something happening around you. Like you feel like a buzz. Now, boy. Am I really the one that you're mad at here? He puts his hat on. Seems you have much to discuss. I'll leave you to it. Good luck to you. He says to Hector.
Eh.
And he makes his way out.
Okay. As long as he's finished dropping one-liners, then
Yeah, seems so.
I'm gonna as long as it's done, I'm gonna interpose visually so that way, there can't be death ray eyes between the two people anymore. Because I think he gets it.
When the door shuts, it is awkwardly silent. And you watch a man sink into himself. Yeah, maybe a drink. Two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured. You a whiskey person? It's mostly just whiskey.
Actually, I don't really drink, so whatever seems appropriate.
I mean, it's like the badass one, right? Swirl it, be dramatic. Feels like a dramatic moment.
He finds a chair.
We'll hand him whiskey with, ice and stuff in it. Maybe some kind of soda.
I'll quietly pat him on the back twice.
I mean, my parents are strange too.
There are no coincidences.
Mm.
So whose crystal is that?
Well, fairly certain anyway that the crystal belonged to Drake.
And want me to potentially take on his memories.
I want you to consider many things, but one of them is understanding that none of us could potentially take on such powerful memories, insights. We're not physically made for it. Nor are we spiritually made for it either, if you believe what many magicians believe in their theory and practices. As you so fitfully mentioned when we were approaching, dragons take on, they assume their power. No one gives it to them. How insightful of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
For now, let us have a drink and ease the moment a bit.
So why? Then why do you need them? It's so important. What was he talking about? Controlling something?
There is an entity which exists in a protected matrix space, one of phenomenal power, one that cannot be allowed to exist in a space where it cannot be controlled. We have reason to believe that Drake had some understanding of how this would be done. And what we want to do is take this object, this, I try really hard not to say artificial intelligence.
Sure.
Because I
Yeah.
don't want to say that. So I probably continue to say entity. If we take this entity and we place it in a receptacle where it can be protected, housed, rather than be loose on the matrix, where it could do irreparable amounts of damage to a multitude of systems.
You're talking about Drake's plan. His mission, the one they stopped.
Right. Unfortunately, someone continued that mission. They created the thing. They birthed it. And now we need to take it and put it somewhere where it can be in a state where it isn't loose.
Goddamn dragons. You know, my mother told me that to be a voice of a dragon is to let them into your mind and your soul. That you're permitted no secrets. You're denied the right to question their authority, their justifications. You're just a vessel for their intent. And should they feel you misrepresent them, it should come as no surprise. It is not a lightly taken offense. But to be a voice is one thing.
Yes, into war with one in your mind is another. I don't think it can go without saying that the burden you would bear, Hector, would be considerable. I don't believe any of the rest of us, though, are capable of it. No disrespect meant to my fellow team members.
No, I'm good.
So
Got enough going on in there.
Frankly, my connection to the physical world at this point is a little gray.
But I'm some kind of half-breed, some kind of dragon man.
You're Hector. That's who you are. No one can take that from you.
He takes a pull of the drink, the first pull, and his eyes go really wide for a moment as he seems to kind of choke on it. But that couldn't it?
I think it's possible, yes. I tend to think, from what I've seen of you, that you're a fairly grounded and self-aware person, albeit perhaps with a little bit of memory problems. It might be meddlesome, yes, because you'd be injecting someone else's memories into your head. It might make you question who you are, what you've seen, where you've been. I just want to be honest with you. There's no benefit for me lying. The flip side of the coin is this. We're unable to deal with this entity that we hold. At some point, it gets out. It does real damage to innocent people at a very large scale. It would be like what Alamos 20K did. It would be like being able to prevent the Night of Rage and doing nothing.
He goes to take another sip, and you watch as kind of his eyes go almost white, like the color drains from his irises, and he drops the glass and it shatters on the ground. And you watch him just kind of sit there in kind of a trance for a moment. Ten, 15 seconds pass. And you watch his body kind of rattle as he seems to shake it off. Mistress. She's looking for me.
Looking for you.
It whispers, this place must be protected somehow, shielded, maybe warded.
Maybe.
What was the unfinished task that she wanted to finish?
The destruction of her nemesis. And it would seem her former lover. Who I might never have known. He stands up. I might never have known him. Who he was, what he was, what he knew. Why would she hide it from me? Why would she lie?
Did you ask?
Believed her. Believed what she told me, what she said she saw. But I don't know why.
Perhaps at the time she did not have the faith in your strength of will.
Or she's under some kind of deal or compulsion.
That could be as well.
So this might be the only way, then, that I might know him.
It might be. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine she has very many pleasant thoughts about it. From what I understand, from what we have been able to glean, their relationship was once very bright, and it became much less than that. They disagreed and began to fervently disagree about many things, and it broke them.
What was it that he believed? Do you know?
Like the player is trying to remember what his mission was, or what he decided to do that she disagreed with.
Well, so the long and short of it, is his understanding of how people, humans, the younger species, as he would call them, all shared a level of irresponsibility when it came to information. And the more they shared, the more destructive they became. The more they learned from one another, the more that they made information free and liberated it from kind of the shackles of libraries and cloisters, the more dangerous everyone became to one another and the world. And so he kind of made it his mission to become the lore master for the subspecies, because he cannot be the lore master for the dragons, as he was slighted long ago for another.
Okay.
Again, that's what you know to date so far.
So by putting himself in that lore master position, then he's sort of, is he putting himself then into conflict with other dragons?
No, not necessarily, because it wouldn't be a draconic lore master. Draconic lore masters protect the memory crystals of other dragons. That's their job. They maintain the hoard of collective dragon knowledge and pass it to the next lore master.
Right.
Drake bucked the tradition, did not pass his crystals on, and chose basically to be the arbiter of information for those who he saw as also slighted, basically. Humanity struck a chord with him.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I explained that to Hector.
Just kind of scratches his head. It's pretty fragged up.
Yeah, we can agree on that.
What do you think? He looks at all of you. Is he right? Maybe. He looks around the bunker. How much information is too much?
I suppose that depends on the person and their intent. And I think that is the concern when it comes to this matrix entity. It may have the ability to stockpile and collect at random or at will vast swaths of information. It's my understanding that Drake might have some idea as to how to contain it. That's the key information piece that we're looking for. It's why we were in the building. It's why we went to war with the people who tried to kill you.
You saved my life.
I'm not here to hold it over your head.
No, I know. And hopefully, as far as I know, that particular debt has been paid. But this is different. This is. He looks at you, Rusty. You seem out of sorts here. Why is that?
Abby, you tell me what gives me away.
I guess I can smell my own. Until this morning, my world was pretty small. Books, learning, reading, magic, stories, chores. What do you make of this?
another sip. It's a lot. I get that. I'm not in your position whatsoever. I'm, I guess, a little bit sort of sticks out a little bit here because I'm just here to help my fellow crewmates. I'm here to sort of follow my morality compass in a way. And I enjoy protecting people, and I think this direction is the way to do that.
You don't sound like a Shadowrunner.
Oh, I'll get there. Don't worry. I'll get a kill count out of my belt. Don't worry.
I meant that as a compliment.
Oh, thank you. Wait, what?
Now, wait a minute.
Oh. These people have taught me a lot. They've taught me a lot about the confidence in finding my own voice and finding my own moral compass in a way. And it's been a hell of a journey, and I'll keep journeying on to the ends of the earth with these people. And I trust every word that Saint is saying, and I trust every bit of his plan that he's proposing.
What?
Oh, for that, I take another sip.
Gonna pour you a glass of water preemptively.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I need water. Thank you for the hydration.
Cowboy, are you doing anything with said information that you have, or just kidding? Just curious as what you're planning on doing with it, if anything.
Yeah, so I would saunter back over and or amble over. I would amble over
Nosy.
and hand
Saunter.
and hand the saunter. Hand the crystal to Saint. And even if they're in the middle of still talking, I'm just gonna hand it on over and kind of turn this piece of paper that I have
It's
with
more
the list of payment.
It's a bunch of papers.
Oh, it's
yeah.
a folder.
Yeah.
Okay. So is the list of payments just on one piece of paper?
No, it's on a few. There's a bunch of different transactions that seem to have occurred over time.
Oh, okay. So then I'll kind of wave the file in his face. Hey, when you're done kumbayaing with Hector here, can we talk about this file?
Sure. I don't really know Kumbaya, but certainly.
Sorry, I understand. She really is very persistent.
You may have to learn to block her out.
Can you send her to voicemail?
I wish.
I don't think it works like that.
Oh.
She's anxious, angry. I'll go over there. Kind of points to a random area where there's a bunch of armor hanging on the wall, some boxes. Pulls up a stool and just kind of stares at his hands and his knees.
I'm going to grab the bottle
Okay.
that Hollow Mercury was mixing drinks with, and then sit down and sort of powwow right there with the four of us. Put the crystal in the center. So, what do you got?
Oh, is it my turn? Okay. I kind of lay the file out on the table. So these look like payments over the last week or so. But some of these are names we recognize, or I know. I pull out the paper with Ham Fist, and then Lucy. Those I could maybe see under the same payment umbrella. This one, though, makes me question all the things. And I lay down orifice's payment.
Sizable.
Well, I
Sizable
mean, I'm sure.
orifice.
Is it just one payment or is it several? Do they
It is.
get larger and smaller, or
It
how
is.
does that work?
It is several. And you have. Do you have any? I guess street knowledge or Shadowrunner knowledge or.
They do. Much
Okay.
like NWA, I also have the strength with street knowledge.
Okay. Please give me a logic and appropriate knowledge roll, please. You can add 2 dice to it. Anyone else who has any street knowledge rolls, specifically things about fixers, Shadowrunners, Shadowrunner culture, local area knowledge would be valid as well.
Yep, you bet.
Okay.
3 successes.
All right. So I'll start with the 2 successes. So 2 successes from Cowboy here. As you're flipping through and you're going through more of these sheets, you also see that there are payments received from an account that sticks out to you. Because it seems to be coming from a place called to the name. Just a moment. It seems to be coming from a place called the Aneki Corporation. Which you know at this point was once run by Inazo Aneki, who now is the CEO of Renraku. But these payments are recent. Like, as far as you know, that company hasn't been operating in at least 4 years. It's reduced to rubble. The account, however, seems active. What sticks out to you, Saint, is one of the names, Kleiber. You know, not personally, but you know who they are. They're a fixer that operates out of Seattle. And the reason you know who they are is because they established quite the reputation for being responsible for, well, helping a certain Shadowrunner who was on a mission of revenge assemble his crew 4 years ago.
Okay, I point Kleiber out. This is pretty involved. There's a lot of additional threads now. Kleiber's a fixer that operates out of Seattle, operates with a fairly professional crew usually, does a lot of different jobs, sets things up. Was involved with what happened 4 years ago, too. So there's links here.
This was just lying on the table.
Yeah, it's bait. Someone wants us to know something. They want
Well, I
us.
mean, it was in the armory when I dug through there and just happened upon it.
In this armory here.
Yes.
Well, either our benefactor is sloppy with paperwork, which I doubt, or it's another clue.
You hear from the corner, "Oh shit, she's here."
I turn.
You feel the place rumble again. It is not like the door opening. It's a different kind of rumble.
I walk over to Hector. Is there any way to get her to leave?
We should go outside. We should talk to her outside. We can't.
We should. I agree.
Mhm.
Everyone outside.
Yeah, he looks very shaken.
I step outside
and
with
hesitant.
him.
Okay.
Yeah.
As we step outside, we are going to step into the rumbling streets of Redmond as we take a little bit of a break for ads and bio and beverages. So please stick around. It'll only be a few minutes while we collect ourselves and prepare for, well, something. And we'll be back with you in just a few. And we are back with dice and cats and pets and joy and fun and peace and quiet. And my door is open. Give me just a moment.
No.
It happens.
Can we just do a cat stream? Oh no, the cat's already gone. No.
No, the cat's right there by the window. Just
Cat's back. Okay, cat hype.
All right. Sorry about that. We are back, and now the door is shut, which means that I can be as loud and obnoxious as I want to, and I won't hear the television. Does anybody remember where we left off? Oh yeah, that's right. You were coming out of a bunker that was rumbling, shaking to its
Rumbly bumbly.
very foundation. And as you come outside, the air is, well, to say electric would be pretty precise, honestly. You see the woman that you met in the school. You see the woman known as Kimi Todumasa in full, robe regalia. It is tossed behind her shoulders. You see a very ornate robe, a belt from which hangs a number of objects of varying shapes and sizes and types. She carries a staff that she is holding on to with one hand very firmly, from which is emitting lightning that is kind of popping and zodding areas around you. And the rumble that you get is the thunder, as the air around you is hot and explosive. She yells, "What is the meaning of this? What is this place? What is happening here?" Hector kind of opens his mouth and no words come out. He seems kind of frozen at the moment.
it's the Barons.
Promise everything is fine? Do you want to come get a drink? There's a lot to talk about. And I think Hector may have a lot to talk about with you.
We don't have time for this. His stink is all over this place. Who are you working for? She points her staff at all of you. Who brought you
Put my
together?
hands up.
Who? I demand to know.
Or what?
He's going to step away from Saint.
She shoots you.
Okay.
It's almost like a flick of her wrist, and lightning explodes from the staff. I assume you're going to try to get out of the way of this thing.
Yes.
Okay, so it'll be a dodge roll for you. It is a physical spell.
Oh.
So she does have to hit you with it. There's a secondary effect, but it just depends on whether or not she ends up hitting you with it.
Sure. No, I understand.
Yeah. When she discharges this thing, the air, like her hair gets blown back, and you feel a gust of wind kind of push you against the wall or further into the open door of the bunker.
Okay, hold on a second. 2 more.
You got 6.
Yeah, but I rolled with edge, so I'm taking my bonus successes and
Oh, okay.
seeing how many I can roll over. Okay, yeah, so six hits.
All right. You say, "Or what?" And she flicks her wrist, and you have to get out of the way. This thing comes for you like center mass. You sidestep it, and it blasts the wall of the bunker behind you. and you feel the resulting kind of concussive force around it. You need to make a strength roll now. Strength and body.
Strength and body. So you try to knock me off my feet?
It runs the risk of knocking you, or pushing you, depending on how much you make it by.
No problem.
Just so you know, your threshold is 6.
I got to get 6 hits not to get knocked over?
Well, no, for it to have no effect.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 2.
Okay. So you move 4 meters from the force. You stay on your feet, but you get pushed 4 meters like along the wall, basically.
Okay.
Because it explodes in kind of a sphere out from where it impacts. She screams, "Enough!" If we're going to take more combat actions, we need to roll initiative.
I'm not going to take any offensive combat actions at all.
Okay.
Going to attempt to
I'm going to declare
de-escalate.
that I'm going to declare Hector is the innocent party in this, and I'll move to stand in front of him.
Okay.
And that's when the katana comes out.
Okay. I need you to roll willpower for me.
Okay.
Okay. If you could.
Am I being assaulted by something?
No. You have a code, right?
You bet.
Okay. So, yeah, go ahead and make the willpower roll. All right.
I have 1.
All right. When you pull the sword, it ignites like in a blaze of white hot light. You take 4 boxes of stun damage as it like radiates your brain for a moment. You feel the rush from this thing race through your system, and you feel circuits fry like nerve endings. It hurts, but again, we're stoic today. Nonetheless, you stand before her. She takes a step back. That was unexpected.
Whoa. We don't mean anyone any harm. We're probably on the same side of things. Can we put the spells and swords away, please, as a treat?
Hector says from, again, kind of into your ear, Saint. I can't challenge her. He likes, you feel him like grab onto you and like pull into your back. And you feel like every muscle in his body is straining and fighting. It's almost like he's torturing himself. And all he can really seem to do is hold on to you.
I put my like right arm around, like back around to support him. And I'm trying to continue the feeling of being stoic, knowing that like I probably can't dodge another lightning blast. I probably don't have that in me. But I feel like she's attempting to accost Hector and he's innocent in all this. And that doesn't jive with the whole code of honor thing at all. And so I'm not going to take any aggressive action, but I'm 100% going to be prepared to defend against anything that comes our way. And I'll just say to her, if you wish to talk, then dispense with all of the theatrics.
I want a name.
We don't owe you anything.
And you hear from down the road a bit. He's right, you know. But I do. And you see an unhatted gentleman. His Stetson is not on. It seems to have been blown off. And as he approaches, you see him take off of his trench coat. It's kind of whipping behind him from the weird wind that's going on right now. And when he tosses it off, you see that he's got a lot of what you would consider to be like plating, right? In the places that you would expect it. But it looks very unusual. It doesn't look like it's made out of the same chrome that you're used to seeing. And as he approaches her, he makes a gesture, and pieces of it begin to illuminate. Haven't you screwed that boy up enough? You watch these two kind of square off in the street.
I'm going to see if I can get Hector to take a couple of steps back.
He's basically just holding on to you. So if you're moving, he's moving with you.
We're having a moment.
Aww.
I like Hector. He's nice. He didn't do anything wrong.
They begin talking. But what bothers you isn't the fact that they're speaking a language that you don't understand. They are roaring at each other in like an inhuman tongue. And you hear Hector begin to translate what they're saying quietly. Kimmy starts with the insults. Traitor. Cur. Do you still lap at the talons of even the forgotten memory of your master? And he says, no, I moved on to bigger and better things. I'm here for a legacy. And she says, it is not your legacy. The line ends here. The line ends with him. And he says, no, it starts with him. And then when he begins translating again, you can feel Hector kind of climbing over your shoulders to see what's happening. And you can kind of feel his eyes widen. He says, master to me, true love to you. Perhaps given a chance, it is me who would bear the weight of his name. And she says to him, you were never worthy. Even at your best, you were mediocre. You'll always be an idiot. And he says, yes. But I'm the idiot he told your name to. And he says a word. He says something. As the noise emits from him that splits your ears. And you watch her react. And you see him start to physically manipulate the air around him. And she begins to contort like clay. She begins to bend and break. And his movements become more feverish. The air around you is white with light and heat. You watch him begin to unravel her, one thread at a time. It is agonizing. It is ethereally disturbing. Because it's not bloody, it's not gory. She simply ceases to exist and screams the whole time. And it's not the kind of scream that you hear, you feel it. You feel someone get unmade. Hector screams.
Yeah, I'm probably at a complete loss.
I'll be able to take some actions, perchance.
Yeah, by all means. If you wish to
I'd like
act
to
during
grab-
the unmaking, it would require a bit. But I'm assuming you're waiting until
That's
after
okay.
the
It's not an action that would interrupt it. It's an action of grabbing Rusty's shoulder and just slowly walking a little further down the street from a possible giant magic explosion
Okay.
with them in tow. These two are fine. Not far enough away that we can't see it, but just a little bit of distance as a treat.
The air begins to grow still around you as debris and dust and things are falling from the sky. And you watch this man walk over to where apparently he hung his coat, and he picks it up.
I'm going to walk over towards him.
He turns to you.
You're welcome.
She had it coming. She would have killed you all, you know.
She didn't seem like she wanted to discuss anything other than who our benefactor was.
He bows.
But you knew that that was a possibility.
Of course. She was always the most arrogant of us. He seems oddly calm.
No, I'm sure he seems very satisfied.
He seems very satisfied.
Yes. Of course, Hector just watched his mom get nuked.
He watched a liar be unmade. When was she ever going to be a mother to that? Well, tragedy.
I don't see Hector as a tragedy.
Humans were not meant to share their power. It will find its way. And the Hector you know here is going to cease to be one way or another. Never had a chance. None of them do.
Oh, we better get going because time is short. I'll sheath the flaming katana.
He raises an eyebrow. It's weird. It kind of goes up on its own without moving the rest of his face. It makes a bit of a zzz sound. Huh. Unexpected. He turns around. Well, this place covers blown. She won't be the end of it, you know. They're going to try to stop you.
I should hope so. Wouldn't be any fun if they didn't.
Kind of fun.
We should probably get out of here.
Uh-huh.
Hector starts breathing normally. He looks at Spatter. Spatter holds up his hand. Might want to chamber that for later. You're all insane. Spatter laughs like a maniac and walks down the street, leaving you all there.
Okay, well, so that's been fun. We need to
Feel
go.
pretty hinged. I don't know about the rest of you.
I'm kind of in between right now. Yeah.
Right, okay, fair enough. Let us check out
The hell
the
kind of
dog
spell?
thing.
The hell kind of spell was that?
I have no idea.
I've never seen anything like it.
Spatter's right, though.
Probably
We need to go.
something that
Sorry.
probably something that took a lot of preparation. Sorry, Saints.
You knew her name.
He didn't just know her name, he knew her true name and used it against her and pulled her apart.
Sorry, Hector.
He nods. You have to forgive me. I'm not really sure how to feel right now.
I wouldn't expect you to, but for now, let's all take a once over of this place before we leave and pack anything that we think might be useful.
What are y'all taking?
Well,
All the explosives.
Most of the stuff in the 2050 book, as far as gear is concerned, is generally available. It caps at about like 10F. That includes magic supplies.
yeah,
Yeah.
we
So
should certainly take a little bit of everything, I would think.
okay. So I would say that so it kind of comes down to volume, right? When I think of things, I'm going to think of them in terms of what you can store. Now, luckily for you, the car is pretty big. It has a sizable storage space, but it's not unlimited. So what I'll basically probably just do is just give you the same budget that I gave you before as far as deciding what's in it, and you can choose by category how you want to sort things out. But it'll be something like 40,000. That's probably a safe bet. So
Like
I guess
per person?
well, per category.
Oh.
Right. So like firearms, armor, magic supplies, etc. That you'll be able to just kind of assemble. So I'm going to assume you load up entirely. The most of the other information that seems to be generally available is stuff like very out of date surveillance. It doesn't seem it seems like you've combed through most of the essential documentation here. At least anything that applies to anything that you would tend to care about, unless you're starting in like stock options or something like that. So once you all get loaded up, say you take an hour or so, Hector is happy to participate in laborious activity. It seems he seems fine with it. So you have an extra pair of hands that's helping you move things. It's wow, nice car.
Indeed.
It drives like a nice car, too.
Okay. So you all pile in.
Well, I have a question before we leave,
Sure.
Game Master.
Yeah.
Is there a garage attached to this bunker?
No. It's
Uh-oh.
just it's one space, but it's kind of parceled out into.
All right, I was hoping we're gonna bat cave this thing and there'd be like a whole garage of things.
No,
Thought that would be cool.
not this time around. No special garage. You all have a pretty nice car that you stole from Rusty's dad's garage. So
That's right. We stole. It was a group effort, everybody.
we're definitely all accomplices at this point. So you all pile into the car. So what would be the seating arrangements here? I understand that Rusty's going to be driving. Who's riding shotgun in the Euro car?
Cowboy.
Okay. There are 2 benches as far as the back seat is concerned. So Hector is happy to ride in the far back or in the middle, wherever you all want him, really.
No, I think he's got to be in the middle.
Okay. Oh, Hector is
I didn't
sitting.
even get a chance to finish my drink, so I'm going to finish my drink in the back seat.
Yeah, there's some nice stuff back here.
Are you talking about cup holders? Because those are dope, yeah.
More like the mini fridge.
I mean, that's like a cup holder. In my world, that's always been the cup holder.
Okay.
You have some big cups.
Yeah, I do.
So where the big question is, where are you going?
I mean, that place that we used before is probably cooked.
What? Sugar's safe house? Wow.
Uh-huh.
Sugar's work site.
I don't know if I know about Cowboy seeing somebody outside of that place or not yet. I can't remember if
I'm not sure
Cowboy
the
said
cowboy
anything
told
about-
any of us about that.
About
Right.
the fox?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I thought you told somebody about the fox.
I don't think I did.
Okay. So, nonetheless, while you all are driving out of Redmond, I'm guessing, because that's definitely a direction you can choose to take, is just away. As you're departing, an email comes across the the device you got from Spatter. And it says, "I'm a man of my word. I have their location when you're ready."
Now, when he says their location, he's referring to...
Well, you see a Renraku emoji, so...
Oh. I nod to myself and sort of pass the phone so Hollow Mercury can see what I'm looking at.
Oh, I like that emoji. That's like one of my favorite of their from the new set. Aw, it's so cute. A little blushy. Aw. Have you seen the Renraku Woo? They didn't approve that one, but I was hoping.
Nice. Okay, you got me. Renraku. Now I have to draw it. It's gonna happen.
I get one.
But yeah, what is your plan?
After all of that, I think we should get somewhere safe for a little sit down and
Sure.
think.
Can everyone be on their best behavior?
No.
No?
You're not making this any easier.
I mean, I'm always on my best behavior.
I read an address off. I'll punch that into the sat nav.
On it.
Okay. Feel free. Where are you headed?
So I have a middle lifestyle,
Okay.
which we have been at before.
Mm-hmm. All right. So tell me about how you're driving here. Now it is currently peak end of business hours. So you're looking at, somewhere between 5 and 7. Are you attempting to get there expediently? Are you attempting to get there carefully? Tell me about the driving experience. What have we learned and what are we going to do?
What we've learned is to be discreet. So I definitely want to get out of this zone quickly, but then once we enter with the business traffic, I just want to blend in with the business traffic.
Okay. So you're going to give me a pilot roll. Bear in mind the added enhancement from your vehicle control rig if you're rigging, unless you're piloting manually, in which case just roll your pilot.
Pilot groundcraft?
Yes.
Ah, which is a car. One.
Awesome. So traffic is a bit of a pain in the ass. You do your best to be mindful of your space, but you find yourselves, and all of you kind of feel this. There's just so many times where you're stuck in traffic, feeling exposed. Like you're on an overpass. Like in the middle of an overpass over a highway, just looking out over Seattle. Not moving. And then you inch. And then you inch. And then there's a bunch of honking that happens. Once you get out of a bunch of the more choking traffic, where is the middle lifestyle? Where is it?
Where is the middle lifestyle? Always a good question. So the middle lifestyle is in, it appears to be in Renton.
Okay. It's not that long of a drive. Getting into Renton off the highway, once you're in Renton, traffic slows considerably. You just mostly have commuters getting home from work. And you're traveling with them. So you just kind of make it into the area when they do. Does the place have a garage?
It does have a garage.
Okay. So the garage to the residence opens as you approach. Why don't anyone who's keeping an eye out for, I don't know, suspicious activity, give me a perception test as you are rolling along before you make it into the
Yeah.
I have 2.
I have 1.
I love to perceive and look at things, and I got 2.
All right, great. You will be, Rusty, if you're doing this, you're rolling the sensors of the vehicle plus your intuition. Oh, are you asking, was that the, I don't know what the sensors of the vehicle are face? That's what it looked like to me.
It's that exact face, actually. Trademark.
Well.
No, I know exactly what I'm doing. But for the audience, let's go ahead and discover this together.
The sensors are the sensor rating is 1. Okay. So Rusty, you would pick up on this first. There is a car that seems to be, at least before you get into Renton, there seemed to be a car that was following you. It was not a security vehicle. It looked like a domestic sedan, relatively nondescript, not traveling very quickly, obviously, because it was traveling through the same traffic that you were. But it did make a couple of moves that seemed a bit aggressive. That if you were, trying to follow somebody, you might make. So with the sensors roll, you're able to determine that there is one driver, and that it is not a stock engine. Whatever that car is has been modified to some degree. It doesn't really appear to be. It's a little bit more than meets the eye, if you will. So beyond that, with 2 successes, both Saint and Hollow Mercury, it's as you're going into Renton, a car pulls away, and you, out of the corner of your eye, you know how I don't know if you've ever encountered a famous person, in passing. But when it happens, there's like something that misfires in your brain, like when it occurs. And you're like, did I just see The Rock? Like, did that just happen? And so you have to kind of look again. And when you go to look, you have a hard time making out who it is that's driving. But what is unmistakable is the radio that's attached to the dash that you can see as they're pulling away. And it definitely looks like a decent wave, like a band kind of CB-ish communicator of some kind, very sophisticated communication set up in the dashboard of that vehicle. Whoever that person's talking to, they probably use similar radios. And with one success, you're looking in the rearview mirror, Cowboy. And you have a bit of a jump scare, if you will. Because as you're rolling through the neighborhood and you see like a bush kind of move away in the distance, objects are closer than they appear. You're just kind of watching the road pass from behind you. You watch as a kind of mammoth, gross looking, like grotesque dog head pokes its head out from around the bush. And it kind of lolls its tongue out at you. And you look back out of the mirror and it's not there. And then you look back to the mirror and it's not there. But you swear you saw a dog.
Yeah, I rub my eyes and God, lay off drinking at night.
Bullet to the house.
I work my way to get out of the vehicle.
It's not too hard. Pretty accessible doors on the Eurocar. This one is very not squeaky.
That's good.
Door opens and closes pretty smoothly. With a bit of a hiss. What are you all doing when you arrive?
I'm giving them the 5 yen tour.
Okay. As you all are walking around, Hector kind of looks at you all. Says, not to be callous, but is anyone else really hungry?
I can attend to that inside.
Right, of course. You all get inside. You want to describe the place for those present, so they know what does the Saint Pad look like?
Yeah. So the place in Renton is probably about 12 to maybe 1,250 square feet. It sports 2 different bedrooms, a bath, which seems to be reasonable as far as its upkeep and style. But the party piece, so to speak, of the Renton Pad is the kitchen, as it has a full suite and selection of flavor sauces, and it has what appears to be some real food selections, some non-soy based products. I mean, it's been a lifestyle with a little bit of enhancement when it comes to the food selection stuff, just because, well, I got to be putting in the right stuff to this body.
Sure.
There's probably a patio, with a balcony, and a reasonable entertainment suite with a trid and a couch that will seat 3 on one, and then a couple of chairs in the other.
Did you walk in?
It smells clean by comparison to the Barrens.
Hector kind of chuckles. He looks around. Not gonna lie, I was kind of expecting like walls of guns and gun smoke and swords and dummies. Maybe ninjas.
I'm sure that's all hidden behind a wall or something.
Anybody else think they were going to see? I thought I was going to see ninjas.
And it's probably like when we step in, it's probably like classical music starts playing.
Gonna do like an audible little whistle, then like Nice.
Oh man, Bach is my jam. This is great.
I come here for peace because it's a little bit away from the downtown space. So I wouldn't expect to see a whole lot of gun walls or bullet smoke in here. Hopefully not. I have regular, normal neighbors.
If it was a little larger and tied to your employment, it would remind me of my old place. Not the one that had the incident. Old place. It's nice.
Wait, you had an old place kind of like this?
I mean, I had a whole life before I was here.
Yo, say, you got more booze? Because I want to hear about this.
I
It's
have
a
a
corporate stooge. I don't know what to tell you.
I have a selection. Just go easy. I'm gonna
I'll
make
pour water.
some food.
Wait, Rusty, did you think I just like sprouted fully formed, what, mid-40s ish into the world of shadow running?
I mean, I kind of figured everybody just kind of tumbled into it, yeah. Or maybe, I mean, you guys are so skilled. I thought that you've learned this stuff since birth. Like, you just had a family of Shadowrunners, and that's how
Oh,
you
no,
survived
I
so
was-
long.
I just did a lot of fraud before this.
Ooh, what type of fraud?
The like boring paperwork kind. It turns out they try to kill you for that. So
Oh, wait, boring paperwork card, is that like identity fraud, or is that like bank fraud? What
no,
is-
tomato.
Yes. Okay, cool. Yeah. What about you,
Varieties
cowboy?
of things. I mean, identity fraud is complicated, so not a lot of identity fraud, but
Oh, that's true. Yeah, the sins and stuff.
the kind of things that gets you aggressively fired from a large, terrifying mega corporation for being caught doing.
Saint, as you're getting things ready in the kitchen, you're kind of emptying your pockets and like putting stuff on the counter. You produce a rubber band kind of encapsulated tissue origami box that just kind of tumbles out of your pocket. And it rolls onto the counter a bit.
Oh, shoot. I grab it.
It grows a bit. Seems to unfold just a tad bit more.
Mercury, come here.
What's up?
Here, hold this and hold it very tight.
Oh, okay.
I need you to make me an agility roll, please.
She's gonna like peek at it. Oh, an agility roll. Oh goodness. All right.
Yeah. So what Saint hands you is, imagine, if you will, an origami flower made from delicate tissue paper that at some point was likely very like elegantly compacted. It is expanding, and it kind of seems relatively impossible to fold. So how'd that agility roll go?
Right. Is that, I'm not sure what agility is in 5e Shadowrun. Is it gymnastics?
Oh, just your
Oh, like just the flat skill.
yeah,
right.
just the attribute. Unless you have origami.
Am I still wounded?
Yes. Unless you have things
No,
like
my wounds.
or folding or enigmas or puzzles of some kind.
No.
Those would be helpful skills to
Oh wait, actually, hang on. Do. Nope, never mind. I didn't think that. Carry on. Agility it is.
just agility. All right. You keep it from
Oh, hey, that's not terrible. Two successes.
keep it from
That's a
flipping itself
slightly
open.
wounded.
You secure like, oh, okay. If I pinch these pieces together, it'll just kind of stay still.
How long do I have to hold this now? How inconvenient is this going to be if I stop holding it?
It's likely going to be very inconvenient. And
Hey, Rusty, can you hold something for me? Just for a moment.
Wait, what? Okay.
No.
Hang on real quick while I get you. You sure? No, I shouldn't.
What is happening? I am here to help.
Listen, I took this from her abode in the desk. expands rapidly. I have no idea what's on it. I have no idea how big it is either.
Okay, fine. Nah, I'm already mangled. I'm gonna walk to the other side of the room and open it.
As you as you just kind of start unfolding it, you hear someone pad into the kitchen. You see Hector standing there. He seems amused. I was wondering when that would happen.
That's a good sign, I think.
You know, I'm glad you took it. No. I wasn't so sure then, but here. He kind of comes over to you as this thing seems to be a little bit out of control. He kind of puts his hands on yours and starts kind of playing with the fold, like the object a bit, and starts helping you like kind of maneuver the pieces around. And you watch as he starts to help you unfold like a page, and it kind of peels off the top, much like a flower petal. He produces another one and another one. You see it start to kind of thin out. But the pages are the paper is super duper thin, like thinner than crepe paper. But it's still sturdy nonetheless. And as it unfolds, it doesn't retain any creases. And he just takes his hand off of yours if you continue to kind of unweave this thing. And it just becomes a stack of papers.
Thanks for the help.
It's about 300 of them. And once there's air in them, it's pretty thick. It's like a good 3.5 inches tall.
Well, that's surprising.
Well,
What is that? Some kind of contract?
No.
I'm skimming through it quickly.
It's a spell book. A library.
Oh.
Things she had affections for, her preferences. Favorites, I guess. But someone
Well, that's interesting.
should have it. I don't want it. He kind of turns around. Just seems to kind of linger for a bit before ambling out of the kitchen.
Well, Chad has helped us decide what Satan is making, and so I'm making chicken and vegetables.
Excellent. Real
Oh,
chicken?
it's nice in them.
Smells like chicken in here.
Cowboy, do you feel like becoming a wizard? Shake a big stack of paper at you.
That would be a negative.
Fair enough.
And there's not ink on it as much as the pages seem kind of to shimmer with writing and diagrams.
Honestly, this does seem worth holding on to. I think Mercury's gonna like try to find like a little box to put it in.
Okay. I begin rummaging around the house for a container.
It just, I mean, whatever. It's Saint's house. It's fine.
Yeah.
What's a little thievery between colleagues?
You find a relatively large piece of what looks like Tupperware.
Oh.
And a vacuum seal.
Mm.
I'm saying this because I just bought one and it's very nice. And it works very well.
Sounds very nice.
And it keeps guacamole pretty fresh.
So can I default to etiquette for cooking?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Logic, you figure?
Yeah, we'll say logic. It's a profession role.
Any bonus die for being in my own house?
I'll give you one for committing to the bit.
Thank you. So I'm going to re-roll 2 of those because, of course, I rolled with edge.
Sure.
Because I'm not about to screw up people's food. Oh!
5 successes.
I'm going to keep rolling, sir.
5 successes so far.
So they blow up.
Yep.
Them successes, they do blow up.
6.
Nice. So 6 successes on my chicken and
Nice
vegetables.
successes. So those of you who remain in the kitchen, if you weren't hungry before, you definitely are now. Are there any non meat eaters among you? Okay. Yes. It is definitely filling the place with a very satisfying aroma. Yeah, you cook everything to perfection. The chicken is very, very moist. The vegetables are firm yet edible. Everything is delicious. You even go as far as presentation. Like, there is a table. It is set. It is very well portioned and pretty. Everything kind of stacks up neatly and looks like it's where it's supposed to be. You prepare a delightful repast. You don't know that you've ever done better.
I probably have. I'm going to try to not let on that I've never done better.
Yeah. It seems like second nature, like you really get into it, and you find the whole activity very honestly like a welcome distraction. You remember that, some things are simple. Some things are very, very simple and straightforward and have simple solutions. And it's a welcome addition in a time where it seems like a lot of things aren't simple. So, you all sit down for dinner. And break bread and veggies. Okay. Is anybody not sitting down for dinner? Right.
I
Okay.
pour wine.
Yeah, you all sit down and chill out.
Ooh.
Hector declines the wine. He says, that whiskey stuff didn't really agree with me. I'm just gonna, it's okay. Stick to the
Yeah, that
old
stuff's a little bit softer.
old
But,
H2O.
yeah.
Raises a glass of water. I found a lemon.
There are very
Wait,
few
a real
times.
lemon?
Yeah, he just, like, squeezes a piece into water.
Very few times in this life
Huh.
where we seem to have time for something like this. So hopefully you all enjoy it.
Oh, thank you, Saint.
Yeah, it's appreciated. She's gonna elbow you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I should be able to keep up with the lifestyle, right? Actually, the place came with a bunch of books on cooking. I flipped through them a few times. And then I watched a bunch of videos on the Triz, and it seems to have worked.
Well, you're better at it than I am. I just had the cafeteria, and then I live above a bar, so
Well, if it's any consolation, not anymore.
I suppose that's true.
The beds here are reasonably comfortable. There are 2 bedrooms. Each of them have a couple of beds.
When you mentioned that you're not at your place anymore, Hector looks up with kind of a half full mouth. Was it another helicopter?
Rusty, do you want to explain this one?
I do not.
Oh, hey, I'm
You're
sorry, I didn't.
fair
I didn't
enough.
No, you're fine. You're
bring anything
fine.
up.
You didn't bring anything up. It was just bad things happen at her location due to my actions, and that's no longer a location that she's at.
But at least you're okay, right?
Physically.
Kind of sips his water and stares at the table.
Kind of miss my lamp, though.
I'm so
It's
sorry.
like a really nice lamp. Pulled it out of the dumpster alongside me, Rusty. She's gonna drink wine. Sad about her lamp.
It'll appear one day. I promise you.
That's
We'll
okay.
find
More
another
lamps
lamp.
exist. It's fine.
Yes. For now, provided all parties can be reasonable, we'll stay here.
And Rusty sneaks out in the middle of the night to go back to that. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I slapped the dinner table the table, dinner or
When-
otherwise.
when you do the-
Dramatically,
when
you're
you
just
do-
like putting your
Dramatically.
hands down on the table.
Well, suddenly my blood sugar has definitely risen because it was getting pretty low. We hadn't eaten in a while. And I was just like, oh, do you remember that fox I told you about? And side note, I did tell you guys about the fox. Saint didn't know though. I looked back at my notes.
I think you might have just said it was a fox, though.
No, I said it was a fox that somebody shape shifted into a fox.
Okay, carry on.
But oh wait, over here. I think I might be going crazy. I saw some weird, grotesque dog head like poking out of the bushes. You know, that fox was much cuter. I think.
Talk about Fluffy?
Yeah, well, the dog, I don't think so. It was kind of gross. I
Was
think I may
it-
need to get my head checked. I don't know. I'm starting to see things.
Maybe some kind of spirit haunting a member of the party. Looks pointedly towards Rusty.
Well, that, yeah. I can't deny that possibility.
How terrifying was this dog?
It was grotesque. Like, it wasn't a cute little corgi. They have corgis in Shadowrun. They probably got corgis in Shadowrun.
At least the concept of corgis. Unforgettable.
Wait,
I don't want to give you a dog breed because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings that if it's their favorite dog breed. So insert some, rando dog name here.
Hellhound.
Oh yeah, but they're kind of cute too.
Bargas.
Burgess, yeah.
I'm so sorry. Where did you see this cowboy?
On the way here, like coming into Renton.
Hector looks up again from the plate. Like how ugly? Like the ugliest dog you've ever seen?
Oh, for sure, the ugliest dog.
Like the ugliest dog you could imagine?
I don't think I could have imagined that bad.
Well, I don't think you're haunted, but some people have spirit mentors or totems, depending on who you are, depending on where you're from. And locally, Seattle is home to quite a few city spirits in particular, one of which is the dog, which is native to the city. They thrive here. They survive here. Is it the first time you've seen it?
Thinking back, that is the first time I've seen it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think you saw it just out of character. I don't think you saw it at Ham-Fisted's place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never did. Yeah, the other odd thing was like a several-tailed fox, but it was a person, and then it was a fox. That was cute. This was not.
A woman?
Yes, but that's.
You know, when Spatter said that they would try to stop us, I wasn't quite sure who he was talking about, but if nine-tailed, beautiful woman shape-shifting foxes are kind of not a dime a dozen, if that's Kitsune, that dog is the patron of Jake Armitage. It's not here on its own.
So what you're saying is instead of being freaked out, I should have like waved it over for a snack.
Well, I didn't say that at all. I'm saying, how long's it been following you? You said this is the first time you've seen it.
That was the first time.
Okay.
I mean, what, a couple days since the what's it called? The car place. Car yards. Isn't that right?
Yeah, the car yards. Right by the keg. Yeah.
So for days then.
Well, are you saying that we're being followed by spirits
No, I'm
and
saying
patrons?
that you might be getting followed by the associates of a Shadowrunner who is a very, very close friend, or was a close friend of Akimi's, and is also the same man who thought he killed Spatter. The same man who killed Drake. You see him kind of unconsciously digging the fork into the table. They both did.
Well, I'm sure that'll be fine. Drink wine. The dog seems friendly enough.
No, it's just confirmation that their run is not over.
If he's been following you, then he knows you're here. He knows I'm here.
Is
Finds
dog an aggressive spirit? I'm not familiar.
It'll do whatever it needs to. I don't necessarily know too much about his relationship with it. If it's got smaller dogs, can be used as scouts or attack dogs, guard, anything you could train a dog to do, anything, I mean, it's their dog spirits. They operate the way you would think that a dog would. It's hard to tell the difference between them. It's just
Most of my interactions with dogs have been fairly decent.
You said you saw this woman fox as well. If they wanted us dead, they'd be here already. But he has to know what happened to Akimi. I don't know what to make of all this. Sorry. And it pushes us away from the table.
It's all right.
Look, I don't want to be a burden. If there is something that needs to be done, we should figure out what that looks like and when.
Hector, how much about spell work do you know?
I'm a reasonably learned sorcerer.
I am not. Would it be reasonable to watch the property? And we can do so physically and electronically.
Oh, magically. Of course. Yes. Well, yes, absolutely. Yes, I can help you.
You can help us.
Right.
We're a team.
Okay. I'll need a few things. He looks around. Can I raid your kitchen?
Sure. I mean, the salt's real, if that's what you're wondering.
He runs into the kitchen. You hear him rummaging around.
Hector, do you mind if I tag along? I'm curious about learning more of this stuff.
No, come on in. I need
Kind of stumble
saffron,
into it.
cinnamon, some of that stuff. Oh,
Okay.
what the hell is that? Where's that wine?
Oh, I'm carrying it.
Oh, right, isn't that convenient? You all begin working. And you watch. Well, if you've never seen one before, you watch him begin to perform a ritual casting. He begins incanting. It all seems very kind of normal for him. He's not very bombastic about it. There is a level of confidence that you see when he's casting that he doesn't seem to exude otherwise. You can feel the power come off of him as he's calling out to something. And then there's a moment when you no longer feel alone with him in the room. Like something enters the kitchen. Would you like to sense it?
Yeah, and let's do some astral perception.
All right. Yeah, something enters the kitchen. There's a breeze in the house. Like a whoosh. It kind of blows through the house.
There's no windows open.
Yeah.
Great.
My sensing roll. I got 2.
All right, cool. You see a creature. It is a flame. It is a flaming thing. It just looks like living fire. It kind of moves and sways. It's not burning anything around it. It is just burning. It's not shaped like a man or a monster. It's shaped like a fire. When you look at it, it looks back at you. Those of you who are not ascending do not see anything. But there is definitely, in the kitchen specifically, there's like a swelling of the air in the space.
Certainly on brand. What you were doing back at the building.
And then there's another one.
Oh.
And he seems to kind of stare at them, and there seems to be like a contest that you bear witness to, where you see him begin negotiating with the flame, both physically and verbally. You watch him tame fire over the next few moments. And when he's done with it, it is no longer kind of unruly and vibrant. It's contained. It's very almost docile. It's very small. It's just like a small globe of fire, and it floats away. You watch one float outside, and you watch one float into the house. And when it rounds the corner, you kind of lose track of it. Temperature in the living room goes up.
Yeah, undoubtedly. As the renter in this case, I'm thinking about all of the paperwork and like what I agreed to, and what my renter's agreement likely covers me for, and what it most likely does not cover me for.
Out of control spirits is not part of the package. You didn't get that add on to your renter's insurance. After a bit, it only takes a few minutes. And he comes back. He looks a little tired. I have a sentry outside and one inside. They should last until morning.
That was neat to watch.
All right. Now we need to set up a chain of watch and electronic protection. No sneaking out. We smirk. The house will know.
Hector says, I can stay up for as long as I am needed, but they will continue to do what they do, whether I'm awake or not.
I think of everyone here, Hector, you need the most rest.
Mm-hmm.
You have had a trying day.
He seems to resist for a moment, but he also seems to kind of realize that you're probably right. And as he's leaving the area, he mumbles over his shoulder, "I don't know how to thank you, but thank you." And he walks into the far bedroom.
I turn back to the team. We should be able to do a staggered approach. It should only take a couple of hours. So, who wants to go first?
I will.
Thank you, cowboy. Wake me when you're ready for sleep.
Is there a roof on this place?
There is a roof on this place, and you'll not be on it.
Do my best watching.
This is a pleasant residential area, and Shadowrunners don't get to hang out on the roofs here. You have one method of egress this way towards the garage, and you have one method there towards the front door. Windows at the front of the back property. The closest you would get is the balcony, which you are welcome to.
Just killing my watch party.
No, I'm trying not to get kicked out of my place.
I set up a path in the house to, take regular watch at by the front door, by the balcony.
So who's first? The cowboy?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So why don't you go ahead and give me a perception roll? Where are the rest of you going? Is it kind of pile up on the couch, master bedroom situation? Are you floor surfing? Got
No,
pullouts?
there's no primary bedroom here. It's two bedrooms which are the same size.
Okay.
They have effectively two full beds in them,
Okay.
sort of set at opposite corners of the room, and there are attending dressers for gear, and then I'm going to be on the couch.
Okay. Pardon me. So who's in the non-Hector room?
Yeah. I'm gonna pass out on my face.
Okay.
I
So Hollow
feel
Mercury.
very. I feel compelled to be in the Hector room based off of chat.
Oh,
Oh my.
did I miss some kind of an ooh circumstance?
No, not at all. He's half dragon, right?
Well,
Half dragon and all Hector.
Mm-hmm.
Giddy up.
That isn't at all.
I mean, listen, they're separate beds. It's not like you're sleeping next to Hector.
Exactly.
Look, I just need to know who's sleeping where. So there are a total of 3 beds that are not Hector, and there's a couch that Saint is on. So Hollow Mercury is in the other room. Cowboy is watching. Saint's on the couch.
Probably in character, like I would sleep in the same room as Mercury.
Okay. All right. First watch begins. Into the night we go. Is that your role, Cowboy?
It sure is.
Excellent. So the first, let's say if you're doing 8 hours, you're basically keeping watch for about 2 hours. So it's pretty early in the night for you. It is quiet in the house, and it is quiet in the neighborhood. There is some motion outside that catches your eye as you watch like a late night jogger with a dog go bouncing down the road with a headlight on. You watch a couple other late night strollers. The car go by. One stops almost directly in front of the house and pauses there for a good 10 seconds. You wait, you watch it. You watch it kind of back up a bit toward the house, and then you watch the garage door on the other side of the street open as it pulls up onto a driveway into said garage. The street is quiet again. And then your alarm goes off, the one that says your watch is up.
Yeah, I go over and shake Saint's shoulder really hard.
You get jostled.
Wake up.
Everything okay?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's your turn.
I rise.
Okay. Like a vampire out of a tomb, just kind of 90 degrees up.
Pretty much. I mean, the muscle toner would support that.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Anything in particular that, where are you going to take a nap, Cowboy?
I mean, the couch is already warm, so
Okay.
I plop down on the couch.
It is warm. It's really warm. All right, Saint. Give me what you got.
So probably set up a bit of a shift. Now I'm fairly quiet, and this is my place, so I'm figuring I can probably move about the house without waking anybody, given the dice I have in sneaking if necessary. I just don't want to wake anybody up, and so I'm going to alternate between looking out the front, looking out the back, as far as the windows go. But I definitely want to pay attention to the balcony because I feel like it's a little more likely that someone would try to come in that space rather than the front door. Front door's pretty direct. So, yeah.
Okay.
I'll give you a perception roll.
Okay.
And that is 4 successes.
Okay. Right around midnight. It's cloudy tonight. You know that it is. The weather is telling you it is. So are the stars. It's dark. Doesn't matter too much. But it does definitely set the mood for the neighborhood. You watch kind of one by one as the late night lights kind of wink out. Your neighbors' houses kind of shut down. A few front porch lights stay on. You see the occasional car roll down the street, relatively close to the speed limit. You're definitely off of a main road, but this area is not necessarily outside of traffic zones. So every once in a while, someone will row through on a way to somewhere else, rarely stopping. It's right around 1:30, and you're out on the balcony. The night air is pretty crisp, and you kind of are mindlessly, flicking through your devices, and you watch the first notification come through about the parade and the traffic notifications and the gating off of downtown and the redirections of traffic, the grid notifications, the matrix notifications. It all just kind of starts coming in. Today, Seattle's going to be busy, especially downtown. There's a lot going on, it seems. And it's among those notifications that you get one that isn't related to the arcology, that isn't related to the parade. And it comes through on that same phone.
I tap it to active and see what it says.
I couldn't stop them. They've found you. I don't know how. Give me another perception roll.
Is this visual or auditory?
It is visual.
Okay. I am going to spend edge.
Okay.
So all right, so 3 hits.
Okay. You look into your yard. You look into the neighbor's yard. You look into your neighbor's yard. Across from the property that you rent, there's like a larger property fence. On the other side is basically the back end of the, well, neighboring neighborhood, right? The neighboring street, but it's facing the opposite side. And you're quite familiar with that spot because they have a side-facing driveway and a basketball hoop. So it gives you a really good view of the street. There's a big open area there, and the garage there has a floodlight on it. And you watch as that floodlight turns on, and you see it illuminate a person. And when I say person, I mean they're bipedal, they're human looking. But the silhouette they paint is chilling. You see an armored figure, like almost unreal in how kind of bright the crimson of their indicators are. You watch someone standing there. They're holding something at their side, and as the light kind of hits them, they don't seem to be looking away from where you are. And you watch them don a helmet, like a full-on samurai helmet.
Okay. I will, if I'm not on my feet, get to my feet.
You're on your feet.
And yeah, I'm going to start getting people up.
Okay. You run into the house. Where are you going first?
I think the first place I'm probably going to go is, because I don't think that they would have been asleep very long, is probably just to Cowboy at the couch.
Okay. You run to the couch. As you go to wake Cowboy up, there is like a burst of heat in the room, and there's a ball of fire standing there. And you watch it lunge away from you toward the front door. It smashes into something that you don't see.
Whoa.
And after it does, then you see it. And what you see is, I mean, honestly, you see a glowing red samurai with a giant glowing sword start fighting this fireball in your living room.
Now there goes the deposit.
Cowboy, you wake up to a blast of heat and the roar of, well, a fire monster. It sounds like a loud fire. Whaler. You hear shouting from the other room, from the room that Hector's in. The door kind of flies open. Mercury and Rusty, why don't you both give me willpower rolls, please?
Yum, yum, yum. But I'm so cozy.
You think so, don't you?
Mhm.
Okay. You success. What about
I am, for some reason, totally not seeing willpower on here.
on your sheet? It's an
Oh.
attribute.
I found it. Yeah, it's just not great with wounds. It's right. Do, 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 do. Imagine having willpower. Couldn't be me.
You
Oh,
both
I
got
got
a-
one.
You both got a success. Both of you wake up to a loud noise. You're not really sure what it is. It's coming from outside the room.
Just chart it out.
Okay. So after you wake up, Cowboy, where are you going, Saint? Something just charged
To
through the
Hector.
wall. Okay.
I'm going. I realize that there's something terrible happening here, and I could probably engage with this samurai, but that's not my main mission at this point. If we believe that Hector's the only one that can carry the memories and transfer and eventually offload what we need to offload, then someone has to protect Hector. And so that's where I'm going to. I'm going to assume, given maybe some of my background knowledge as far as it comes with spirits, that if one of Hector's spirits is fighting, then he's likely going to be waking up soon. But just in case.
Okay. As you head toward the area, you head toward the room, he comes barreling out of the room, shoving his hand into his shirt. And he says, "We're under attack."
Yeah, I pull the katana out. Yeah, what was your first clue?
That, he points out a window. Someone dives through the window. Like a figure crashes into the hallway through the window. Full, like, red samurai regalia.
Well, I don't like that.
And it assumes a combat stance in your hallway.
As do I.
Yeah. Cowboy, what is your immediate reaction to this? As there is a fight between a ghost samurai and a fireball happening in front of you.
Yeah, I wake up and I roll off the couch and crawl behind it and pull my guns.
Okay. As you do, the living room windows begin getting shattered by gunfire as you start to hear, like, an automatic weapon fire from outside.
It's awesome. I'll go crawl over to one of the windows that
Hol-
were shattered.
Okay, Holla Mercury.
I mean, essentially going to follow Rusty towards the door, pause for a moment, and step out ahead of Rusty
Okay.
with a gun in her hands.
You step out into the hallway, and you step out basically on the other side of this encounter, where you see Saint squaring off with a person clad in, like, metallic red samurai armor with a very large blade, who seems intent on using it against Saint, who also has a blade out. You are currently behind said person. You hear something impact the wall behind you, like on that side of the house. And it is at that moment, Saint, where you realize that the house is surrounded. Like, you start seeing this attack for what it is. It's a full-blown ambush. And they're going to hit you from every side possible.
Go on.
But
I mean,
they won't be doing that until we meet again next time.
Done.
that's the hook.
Now, as of right now, putting two and two together, many of you would realize that it's very, very likely there are probably 5 of them. If this is to be a Red Samurai team, as they are typically constructed. Thank all of you, all of the viewers out there that stuck with us through this exercise and expedition and exposition. We will be taking a small break at the 2-week mark, so you won't be seeing us again for 4 weeks, but trust that will be the beginning of our season finale.
Ooh.
So things are definitely going to come to a head. And if there's anything that Mike knows about me, it is that I love spoiling lifestyles.
Yep, that's why I bought
That
2.
checks out. Even my terrible one.
Again, thank you all. Shadowrunners don't need homes. So thank you all again for coming. I would love for, once again, my amazing friends and fellow cast members here to let you know who they are, what they do, and why they're awesome. Mike, go ahead, please.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. My name is Mike, sometimes Storyteller Mike, sometimes Keeper Michael, sometimes Handler Michael, etc., etc. The titles are many. The job is one, and that's to deliver impactful and fun and exciting and possibly horrific stories to you as often as we possibly can through our various branches of Old Ways Entertainment, sometimes here on Twitch, other times on the podcast side. So check us out, check out what we have to offer. And please, if you've not done so yet, subscribe here. Follow the show, come and hang out, get to see all these wonderful people and all the extra stuff that you'll see very soon. October is going to be quite busy, and we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, and speaking of being busy, I heard that the Old Ways podcast just got a new cast member.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and remind them of who you are?
Yeah, new cast member.
Yeah, new cast member. Let's hear from you.
I'm the new Old Ways cast member. Sorry, I flubbed a little bit because it's such exciting news. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Pesto Mystic, and I've been playing Rusty tonight. Thank you to all the followers, all the viewers. Thank you all the people that rated tonight. Thank you so much for being here during the story. Thank you to Lecco for putting the story together. This has been so much fun, and it'll continue to be fun. Thank you.
Yeah, this shit ain't over yet. As the one who goes by Cowboy might tell you.
Yeah, next time there's going to be some shooting. Anyways, I'm Morgan. I play Cowboy. Our Old Ways podcast cast member. Someday I'll get that right. Where you hop on over and listen, where you can find me playing Alara on our 6 seasons of Sartar campaign, Lillian Lane on our Masks of Nerothotep campaign, which is over, but there's lots of great seasons to listen to, and Amara on the Children of Periphery campaign, and maybe some other things. So, fun things to be had. Anyways, thanks for everybody for listening tonight. Had a great time. Love playing with these folks, and there's bound to be more fun to be had.
Yeah, I don't think I would be out of line in saying that I think Morgan is one of, if not the most prolific cast member on the Always podcast. Literally in everything.
Yeah, in many things.
I don't know how you. I'm glad you do it though. I'm glad you do it for the people. Speaking of do it for the people, Bunny, you see us out?
Insert communist anthem here. Hi, I'm Bunny Sheener, or they and them are great for me. I'm a doofus. I'm a VTuber. I've really enjoyed being here. This is a ton of fun. I am like personally offended that it's gonna be a month until the next part of this. So I want you to know that in 2 weeks I'm gonna be doing my schedule and I'll be incredibly confused. And then I'll be incredibly sad. I blame you all for this, by which I mean I blame Lecco for this. And I will have my revenge. Bunny. Bunny.Revenge. Thank you.
Man. You know, I accept that. I will take full responsibility, especially since you invoked the name complete with method. Again, I have been Lecco.
I might have meandered towards that on purpose the whole time because I might be a dork.
Maybe. Yeah, I have been your game master. Always a pleasure to run. Always a pleasure to be here with you all. Hope you're all enjoying things so far. I know I am having an absolute blast. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody in 4 weeks when we pick up again. And when I say season finale, that means that there might be more seasons. Fingers crossed. But let's get through this one first, yeah? Let's see how we do.
Right.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and give these people karma And we're going to jump to the end screen. I think we're probably going to raid out somebody. Who are we raiding?
We are. We're going to raid Vancouver by Night. They are playing VTM right now, and so we're going to go hang out there. They're also doing a Demi playing giveaway. So hang out, raid with us, and we'll go have some fun.
Yep, and do them a favor and make sure you refresh the page when you go over there so you can get the view stuff. All right. Thank you all again, and we'll see you next time.